On the last day of May 2014, N.B. Davis missed her usual hair salon appointment, something that was entirely out of character. The reason turned out to be heartbreaking. She had been found unconscious at her home after a fall in the bathroom. That day marked the quiet end of an era, the passing of a woman whose face and voice were familiar to millions, yet whose heart remained something of a mystery, and was born alongside her twin sister, the youngest of 4 children in a family where home meant more than a place. It was a deep-rooted longing, something she would return to again and again throughout her life. Though her gift for transformation surfaced early, acting was never the plan. She had intended to become a doctor, enrolling in college with every intention of healing people. And she might have followed that path, were it not for the artistic fire running through her family. Her older brother danced in the national touring company of the musical Oklahoma. One evening, as she sat in the audience beneath the stage lights and the rustle of programs, something inside her stirred. That night, she heard the call of the stage for the very first time. Years later, that spark would ignite into a character the whole country would remember. But fame did not arrive overnight, and graduated in 1948 with a degree in drama, yet true opportunities didn't come for another 6 years. She was already 28, a time when many aspiring actresses begin to give up, when a casting director spotted her performing in a no-pay cabaret act at a low-rent cafe. That one lucky glance led to an audition. From there, her career took off. Audiences first fell in love with her as Charmaine Schulze, the endearingly awkward secretary smitten with her boss on The Bob Cummings Show. Her portrayal of unrequited love was so gently, quietly moving that viewers couldn't help but be drawn in. During her 4 years on the show, and was nominated for an Emmy 4 times and won twice. Though her character was written as the second fiddle to the charming leading man Bob Collins, she often stole the scene. Her timing was sharp, her expressions rich with unspoken emotion, and her lines always landed with perfect precision. In one classic moment, she deadpans. "I told that gorilla at the factory that you were my boyfriend. He's on his way over to beat you half to death." Delivered with comic desperation, the line brought down the house. By the time the show ended in 1959, Ann's star was shining brightly, and that light would linger for decades. N.B. Davis was never a loud figure in Hollywood. She didn't chase roles, nor did she appear in tabloid headlines. Her fame was soft, almost domestic, like the comfort of a familiar room. She was the kind of character who seemed to sit quietly in the corner of a scene, only to reveal herself as the emotional anchor of the entire story. And though her rise wasn't fast, it was full of determination, humor, and a kind of depth you don't always notice right away. Some stars don't dazzle. They glow, like a warm light in a window that makes you feel safe just knowing it's there. There was a time when the stage and screen still called her name. N.B. Davis remained a familiar face on television, popping up in commercials, guest starring on shows, and occasionally touring with theater companies across the country. But by the 1960s, the offers began to dwindle. She didn't disappear. She simply shifted direction. During that quieter period, and explored stand-up comedy, traveling across America with solo performances that brought her own brand of heartfelt humor to intimate venues and small-town stages. But change has a way of finding us, rarely when we expect it and almost never in the form we imagined. One such moment arrived when the producers of a new sitcom, The Brady Bunch, were looking to cast the housekeeper. They needed someone with natural comedic instincts, warmth, and a quiet inner light. They were looking for Alice. And N.B. Davis's name came up immediately. There was just one problem. She was already under contract for a multi-week engagement in Seattle. The show's creators didn't want to wait, but they also couldn't imagine the role without her. Their solution: buy out her contract. It was the right call, and didn't just play Alice. She became her. Years later, Lloyd Schwartz, son of the show's creator, reflected, "My father didn't create Alice, and did. She was everything the audience loved about that character. Serious and disciplined, and approached each role not as a job, but almost as a calling, investing herself completely, with humility and care." Beneath the comedic timing lived a true artist. Millions would come to know her as the warm, maternal presence on screen, but in real life, Anne was never a mother. She never married. She never built the kind of family people expected. Whispers floated around her private life. She rarely addressed them. Only one person, Lloyd Schwartz again, once shared a quiet truth. There had been love, real love, but with a married man. When it ended painfully and without resolution, something in and seemed to still. In an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times, she once said with a bittersweet smile, "By the time I started looking around, all the good ones were taken." Then, almost to herself, she added, "I'm still a little afraid, but I'm on the side of hope." Her fight was gentle but persistent. She never wanted to be just another polished woman on screen, airbrushed, artificial, tailored to someone else's ideal. She once asked the NBC photographers not to retouch her portraits. They ignored her. The lines were softened, the features smoothed. Gloss won over honesty. She kept a kind but quiet distance from her Brady Bunch castmates. She wasn't the life of the party offset, more often choosing solitude. But once, true to who she was, she threw a lavish Halloween party for the entire cast. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She wanted to give them something joyful, the same way she gave comfort and warmth to viewers across the country. She wasn't Alice, but like her character, there was something deep and quietly radiant within her. An instinct to care, to give, even when words failed. For most of America, Florence Henderson was the picture of warmth and cheer, the quintessential mom from the Brady Bunch. But behind the sunny smile and the carefully scripted domestic bliss, there was a more complex, private reality. Life off-screen was never quite as picture-perfect as the one inside that television frame. Like any real family, the Brady set had its share of tension, hurt feelings, and the quiet endurance that comes with